Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, the undercard for the April 23rd fight night has been confirmed. And as well, covering off in this video, they have extended the capacity by another 4,000 tickets set to go on sale shortly. So this is a undercard which has been announced and it's no great shakes. And I guess I would say before we get to some of the names here, never expected it to be anything fantastic because there's $40 million or so tied up in the main event. I think the financial realities dictate that, you know, the undercard was going to be so-so at best. And especially when Jared Anderson was pulled off the card due to injury, it lost a little bit of its star power with a rising heavyweight sort of going to be on the card in a predominant position. And we do have on this undercard, and we'll come to this, you've got David Adeleye facing Chris Healey. So that's the only heavyweight fight on the card. And I guess I would say, ahead of getting through some of the more of this detail about the undercard, there's going to be two schools of thought about the undercard. There's going to be those who go, well, the undercard, it is what it is. I'm not paying for the undercard. I'm here for the main event. And then there's the other school of thought that will be like, I like the event. I want to see good fights, meaningful fights, good matchups throughout because I'm paying pay-per-view, $24.95. I'm going to be watching most, if not all of it. I want to see a good time, a good night, deliver me a good card. And typically I fall in that sort of second camp. But with this one, with so much money tied up in the main event, I was always expecting a pretty subpar undercard, and I think largely that's what we've got. There's not a lot of money tied up in it, not a lot of great matchups, not a lot of name recognition and star power in terms of meaningful fighters and fights. I mean, you've got Tommy Fury on the card who's got some sort of, you know, profile in the United Kingdom mostly, but I mean, no one really, I mean, I don't care about that. I've seen the guy fight before, and I don't think he's going very far at all. He's clearly hanging out for a Jake Paul payday, and that's it. Don't care, not interested. You've got Isaac Lowe, he's on the card, you know, not really interested in that as well. The Anthony Kakachi fight, yeah, well, that looks okay, but that's not really sort of, you know, a fight that should be sort of so far up the bill as it is. But he's 19-1, he's facing a Colombian Jonathan Romero, 34-1. So also on this card, as I sort of alluded to, you've got heavyweight David Adeleye, currently 8-0, 7 KOs. He'll be fighting his ninth pro fight in his second 8-rounder as a professional against Stockport's Chris Healey as he closes in on title contention. Wow, they actually said that. He's nowhere near title contention. He's got a lot of work to do. And calling him a heavyweight star, a young heavyweight star, is certainly maybe stretching things a bit at this point. They know what they've got at this point is a guy who's got the physical attributes, he's got some raw ingredients, but overall he's pretty underdone, needs a lot of seasoning. That was apparent from that fight against Kamil Sokolowski. Sokolowski won that fight, no doubt about it. Adelaide's record only has the O there because he was given a very favourable decision. I mean, there might have been like 5 people who thought Adeleye won. I mean, I think the overall majority from what I could see from social media who were outraged at the decision, Adeleye didn't win. And since then, they've been pretty careful with the matchmaking. And this, again, is a pretty careful matchmaking. Chris Healey is a journeyman with, what is it, a record of 9-8, something like that. He's been, I mean, he's sort of English level, maybe a little bit below that. I remember watching him on that boxer tournament about 2.5 years ago. So, yeah, he's at a certain level, and if Adelaide got anything about him, he should go in there and deal to him and get him out of there. But just doing that doesn't actually mean that Adelaide's a rising star. At this point, there's question marks about where Adeleye is really going and how far he can go. He needs to run that back with Kamil Sokolowski at some point and prove that he is developing, that he is a guy that is going somewhere in the heavyweight division. Because I think, you know, after watching that fight with Sokolowski, questions remain, that's for sure. So the other part of this undercard, there's a top-ranked prospect, Irish Olympian Kurt Walker, that's going to be before the pay-per-view telecast. Some comments here by Frank Warren, yada, yada, yada. But we'll get to this capacity increase. So it says, in addition to the undercard unveiling, it's been confirmed that Whyte Fury will not now be witnessed in person by 94,000 fans following the granting of an additional 4,000 tickets by the local authority. Brent Council has now approved a further 4,000 tickets to be available, bloody, bloody, blah, as coach packages. And I would note from some of those big events in the past, when they have had those coach package tickets on there, those have been sometimes the hardest to shift. And you have to sort of catch that coach from a certain point. So it may be like way away, nowhere where you're actually interested in getting the coach from. But if you want to get to the ground, see it in person, if you don't have a ticket, might be the only option. And I remember for a couple of the Joshua fights, those were the ones, and I think for the Povetkin one, it was cited in particular, very hard to shift in the end. But given this one sold out so quickly, I think there is going to be some residual interest from people wanting to go, hey, I'll catch the coach from anywhere, and I'll catch it home afterwards, and I'll just make of it what I will to get to the ground, watch the fight. So the press release continues. We'll get down to the quotes here. So you've got Frank Warren says, I'm delighted we're now able to provide 4,000 extra tickets for fans to watch the biggest boxing event staged in this country. I know this is in no way gets near to meeting the huge demand, but we were determined to have as many fans as possible attend Tyson Fury's big homecoming fight. I would like to extend my thanks to Brent Council, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so up to 94,000 could be there on the night. We know that there's going to be a big event, big night, lots of people there, a lot of people there, and the big event is really what people are coming for. So it's a pretty weak undercard, but I expected it. So my expectations, kind of met because I wasn't expecting much. But at the end of the day, a lot of people will just be looking for the main event. There will be some tragics who want to see Tommy Fury, but the rest of the undercard, it fills out the event. It is what it is. Yeah, it's not great, but what can you do? At least the main event, that is a cracker. $40 million tied up in that. Looking forward to it. Maybe not so much the undercard, but how about you? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.